Police officers are starting to use AI chatbots to write their crime reports, and most people are wondering, will it hold up in court? The image here on the Associated Press is a police officer standing in front of a crime report, and you might think that the police officer talks to the chatbot, or that the does like a very basic preliminary write-up and the chatbot handles the rest. No, 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 no. This is an all-in-one, all-encompassing system from Axon, which you could probably barely see, the company that makes body cams, tasers, and a variety of other police and security equipment. And this actually feeds into a system that sends the raw video to an AI, and the AI will then analyze the raw video and write the crime report based on the video. So the police officer doesn't actually have to input anything. He just has to dock his little camera, and the camera will use AI to write the crime report. Now, the police officer said it was a better report than I would have ever written, and it was 100% accurate. It followed better. It even documented the fact that he didn't remember hearing another officer's mention of the color of the car the suspects ran from. And the problem with this is that you're adding AI to a system that will ultimately determine who gets prosecuted and imprisoned. And at the volume that we deal with this, you can see this isn't like getting a lot of oversight here. People are just docking their devices and letting them write crime reports. There's going to be flaws and problems. For example, Microsoft's Copilot falsely accused a court reporter of crimes that he covered. What it accused him of is actually stuff that I probably shouldn't talk about too much here in the video, but basically when he put his own name into ChatGPT, which is Microsoft Copilot, he had done a lot of crime reporting. He had reported on a variety of horrible things that had happened, and because his name was attached to it, the AI confused the reporter for the people being accused of crimes. And when it spit back information, it accused the reporter of a variety of crimes that he had covered instead of committed. And those are the kinds of errors that are possible and likely to happen here with the new AI-based body cam. I personally don't like it. I think it's actually kind of reasonable to use as a tool to get started to have a human do the report. But at the end of the day, a human being needs to be there and double check all this stuff, because right now AIs are still kind of hallucinating. Scientists in China have managed to produce large quantities of water using the moon's soil. And I don't mean soil like the moon's soil. I don't mean something on Earth that has the cute name moon's soil but originates in Argentina or something. No, I mean literally lunar soil samples have produced large quantities of water in a very simple way. And this is an extremely important thing, because if we ever want a base or a colony on the moon, we're going to need fresh drinking water for people. So researchers from China have made a big step forward by turning lunar soil into quantities of water. They said that they discovered minerals in the lunar soil which contain large amounts of hydrogen. And when heated to very high temperatures, the soil reacts with the other elements, and the chemical reaction produces water vapor that can simply be collected. I guess you just have like a little hood or something over it that sucks up all the vapor. And the scientists think that they can produce, this is an incredible amount, up to 170 pounds of water. Interesting way that they would measure it right there. But they think that this boiling lunar dust method of creating water is enough to cover the drinking water consumption of about 50 people, which is extremely impressive. They did say it's also unclear what sort or how much of energy is required, or what other elements are used to create the reaction that makes the water vapor. We don't know if it's safe to drink. We don't know how much energy it takes. We don't know if it's technically efficient enough to be something that we haul to the moon. But being able to just burn the soil and make water is very impressive, and will probably be used in the future whenever we attempt a lunar base, if, humanity lives that long, that is. A huge breakthrough has been made in quantum computing, because for the first time ever, quantum data has been beamed alongside classical data in the same fiber optic connection on the same cable, basically at the same time, for the first time ever. So scientists, as you can see here, have transmitted quantum and conventional internet data through the same fiber optic channel, meaning that future quantum internet could theoretically use existing infrastructure, which is so very important. We basically invented backwards compatibility for the quantum internet. Now, quantum internet requires different types of data. It's not zeros and ones, it's qubits and orientations and things like that. And a lot of people have believed that if we're going to build quantum computing and a quantum internet, we're going to need to build new infrastructure or dedicated channels or servers or something to handle this alongside the classical zeros and ones we'll be handling for many, many years. Well, scientists have shown that you can transmit quantum data through a regular fiber optic cable, but this was the first time that they transferred quantum data and regular data on the same cable, meaning that it could communicate with everything. And they do this through entangled photons, of all things. The scientists use the technique called electro-optic phase modulation to precisely adjust the frequency of the laser pulses so that they matched the color of the entangled photons. This enabled both types of data to be transmitted in the same color channel without disrupting the quantum information held by the entangled photons, which I think is extremely impressive. And this is a huge, huge, huge breakthrough for quantum computing and for the quantum internet. It just doesn't seem that way right now. This is something that 15 or 20 years from now is going to be a very big deal. Telegram CEO Pavel Durov was just arrested at a French airport, and this is a very, very big deal. Telegram is sort of the dark horse of social media networks. Very large, very influential, also very criminal and very favored by Russian propagandists. But CEO Pavel Durov has had an outstanding warrant for his arrest. He landed his private jet at Le Bourget Airport, this according to the French media anyway, and was arrested very shortly after landing. Now, this article and many others don't say why he was arrested, but I did find one that did. Durov faced a warrant in France based on a preliminary police investigation. The French authorities repeatedly claim that Telegram's lack of content moderation and unwillingness to cooperate with law enforcement make Durov an accomplice to the drug trafficking, money laundering, and sharing of, I'm not even going to read that word, that allegedly occurs on the app. That on top of propaganda, on top of the fact that the app deletes the messages. Telegram is I'm going to be honest with you, I think Telegram is a cesspool. I personally don't use it. It's awful. There's a lot of things on there that no human being should ever see. But Telegram is also probably one of the most private apps because by default, it deletes and destroys messages very shortly after you've sent them. So when people send subpoenas to Telegram, when they want to search Telegram, when they look at your Telegram communications, in most cases, there's nothing to see. Now, the European Union certainly has a vested interest in stopping human trafficking and money laundering and things like that and shutting down Russian propaganda. They also have a vested interest in eroding privacy. They have a lot, their version of privacy, let's say, is very different than what we enjoy here in the United States. The European Union has a lot of laws governing technology and that there's supposed to be moderation and you're supposed to back up the data and you're supposed to cooperate with government and do a lot of things like that. Pavel Durov doesn't really believe in these things. He's very yeehaw. I know he's not American, but he has that same kind of attitude of, I will do what I want and I will make my app as private as possible and what users do with it is their problem and not mine. But now it's his problem because the French have decided to properly arrest him. Now the Russian embassy's involved. It's a total mess. And honestly, it's a huge shakeup for social media, and there's just no telling where this is going to go.